Hello, my name is Judith Henry, and I'm here today to help you put together the May Lily birthday card. It comes with the birthday sentiment. It also comes with a thinking of you sentiment, and it has a large lily of the valley on the front. When you open the card up, the sentiments inside, May Lilies means return to happiness. On this card, I did the sentiments in black vinyl. On the card I'm demonstrating from, I did a print on my printer, which gives it a nice feel also. This is the card, the outside, the inside, and the multiple layers that make up the beautiful pop-up in the middle. It is considered a box pop-up mechanism, although it's also kind of a platform because this bottom part is a platform. Hope you can see. Okay, so let's put this one aside and let's start with the cover. That's the simplest piece to start with. The cover has a cutout that when it's put against the inside piece will have all green, but Lily of the Valley are white. So we have a white piece that goes, and get it the right direction, so that the Lily of the Valleys will be white, but the stem will still be green. And so we need to attach this to the back of the card without putting glue on the bells. So I'm using a zig pen, felt pen. It is an adhesive that has a dual purpose. If you use it and attach cardboard to cardboard while it is still wet, it becomes a permanent bond. It's not a real strong adhesive, so I don't use it in spots where I may have a lot of pressure. And pop-up cards have a lot of pressure points with their mechanisms. Okay. Also, what's nice is it's like a rubber cement glue, so if you get it on places you don't want, it rubs off. It's also the glue that people use to re-glue their cutting boards, or cutting mats. And it comes in this narrow chisel one, and it also comes in a wide felt. All right, so I have my cover done, and I'm going to put it aside and show you the next piece that we're going to work on. And this is the pop-up mechanism pieces. I have the ones that we're going to put together, but I wanted you to see the example first. It is the wheelbarrow, and it's in two pieces that when they butt up against each other becomes a standing piece in the middle. You can see it's three-dimensional, has two sides on each one. It has this lovely brick pattern, which you can see in the example, creates a yellow brick road. Maybe you could use it for a scarecrow too, from The Wizard of Oz. So what we need to do is to make sure that you have all your pieces cut, that you have scored them and folded them with your bone folder. That's the wheelbarrow. This is the muscle in between the two wheelbarrow sides that help it to pop up and fold out. This is the decorative trim that goes around the wheelbarrow. And so they all go on this green piece. Notice that one side has a straight cut and the other one has a curved cut out, an angled cut. This piece will glue down on top of this green piece. It doesn't go all the way down. This is the base. So again, I'm going to use my liquid pen adhesive. Match this up at the top in the upper right corner. It does overlap a little bit in the front, as you can see. And this is the handle of the wheelbarrow, so it's going to go off to the side, and this matches this angle here. What we want to just glue down is from here to here and the top part. This is a bracket underneath the wheelbarrow. You can use any kind of glue that you want to. This is just really handy for me to use to make my cards, and I make certain that my glue is liquid when I put it down so that it's a permanent glue. If you let it dry, it becomes a repositionable glue, so you can put it down and move it. Even when you put it down as liquid like we're doing right now, you can take it up and reposition it until it completely dries. So I want that to dry, and while that's drying, we're going to work on the wheel. The wheel, I have cut my pieces out of metallic vinyl. They match the spokes on the green piece. And then I've also cut the tire portion out of black vinyl. You can use your cardstock if you want to. I use the vinyl because it makes it so that the pop-up center isn't quite as thick. The thinner the materials you use, the less binding there is when you do your pop-up centers. Excuse me while I put my head in here because I'm not seeing very well there. Here we go. There. I just started using vinyl, and I had one of the designers say, "Oh, Judy, now that you have found vinyl, things will open up for you." And it certainly has, because it's fun to embellish things with it. Now this post is actually another mussel, and it slides in this little slit parallel to the fold. And if you put your wheelbarrow side down, you will know where to bend this on the other side. And what I am going to do is put it on with some score tape, because it's a little bit stronger than my zig, and I want to make sure that this mussel stays in place. I always thought it was funny that they called it a mussel, but that's what it is. It prevents things from moving around, or it's a mussel that pulls things up in pop-up designs. So make sure that's flat and fold it over, and then cut it off so it doesn't show on the front. Okay, so my wheelbarrow should fold either way very easily. And now we can put the two together to make the wheelbarrow. And again, I'm going to use some score tape. I'll use some small one down in this area so that I can go all the way into the wheel. And I'll use, you only need to put it on one side or alternate which side you put it on. This is your big muscle because this stays standing straight up. Okay. Then I also will use my zig to put glue on the wheels so that they stick together. Maybe a little in between. Match the two up. I would glue them together when they're in the upper position. Line it up the best you can. When they're all together, you have your wheelbarrow. Next, we're going to put this inside our cover. Make sure that you've got the right sentiment on the correct side, so when you open it up, you don't have to twist it around. Because this is a split top, I am going to use my score tape on both the top and the bottom of both sides. When we have pop-ups that use the center fold as a muscle to get things to pop up, then you do not want to glue the center line. Because it causes a binding at the fold. I'm going to do one side at a time. I like to fold out my end pieces instead of taking it completely off, just so that I can position it. And so the wheel should be right on the fold. There should be an 1/8 of an inch gap all the way around. If you put it down, the corners will stick, and then you can just zip this out. And we will do the same thing on this side. And again, this should line up at 1/8 of an inch. I want to try to make sure there's no binding before you completely put that side down. Seems to be good. Okay, there's your wagon, except one more muscle to put on. And this muscle, on a box pop-up, you have at least one end that pulls the pieces back in and back and out. So this is the muscle we'll put at the top. It also is normal to have that end closed off on a wheelbarrow, because the wheelbarrow, you pick it up from here so that you can move it around. You don't want everything to fall out. So I have this muscle and I need to put some tape on it. And we put it goes inside this angled piece, flat against the bottom, but straight up instead of at an angle. And there it pulls it in and pulls it up. Now comes the fun part. This pop-up card has used the print and cut method instead of piecing, because there's so many little pieces on all these flowers that it would become very, very bulky in the middle. So it's a print and cut, it's a reverse print and cut. In the README folder, there is a link to how to do mirror image printing on your printer. And I like to start with my lady. There are several ways that you can do this, how to glue her on. She's got some very delicate legs. Sometimes you could put a pot behind her so that you can put her on and have more stability. Determine which way you want her. So if you did it this way, she looks like she's leaving. I like to put her on the post, or on the post, because then her legs have something attached and above her. Again, I can use this zig pin. You want to make sure that her legs are a little bit off of the ground, because when you fold it, her toes are right on the fold of that post. And the man, I have put him in several different places because he has a big body. I can put him in most places. He also has a flat edge here, which is where he's walking, and you want him to be above it. And I kind of like to put him in the front. But before I put those on, I want to put my flowers on. The flowers need to be set in here high enough that they're going to be away from those folds so that they fold in nicely. This is supposed to look like these are packaged in little bags. So I use the tail end and glue it inside. The outside ones can be closer towards the front because they don't interfere with this muscle piece. The middle ones need to be closer towards the back of the wagon. And I'm trying to put them a little bit higher than the front ones. That gives it a three-dimensional look. And if I stagger them back and forth like this, it doesn't give it a monotone look. So you can see the middle one is towards the back, And these are towards the front. So then when you fold it, it folds very quietly and doesn't bind anywhere. All right, now we have the man to put on. Sometimes I put him on this back post, or part of him on the post, part of him on the wagon. I think this one I will put him on the wagon. Have him a little ways up from the ground also, otherwise you'll have his foot bending on you. And he can be glued all the way up. He's the same on both sides, so it doesn't matter where you put him. It comes with an extra one of those. I've had problems before putting my plants someplace they shouldn't be. And it's just personal choice now where you put all your plants and people. They're the same on both sides, like I said. Where do I want to put this one? You can cut them off and put them down on the sport pieces back there. I've done that before. I just cut off the pot. And slide it in there. The plant isn't small enough to put underneath there with the pot. And I think that's good. And I think we're done. Sign it, mail it off, and you've got a lovely thinking of you card, birthday card, thank you note. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and happy crafting.